Hi everyone, welcome back to Books and Backbone. My name is Donna Harris. I am the CEO of Bookkeeping Made Simple, your host. And it's August. July's done. And I want to start this month the way I try to start every good thing by looking back at what actually happened before I charge into what comes next. So today's episode's a little different. No case study, no framework, no 5 things, just me talking about what July actually taught me. What landed, what surprised me, what I'm still thinking about, and where we're going in August. So let's get into it. Well, what July was all about. First of all, the theme for July was American independence and financial independence. And I'll be honest, when I started this month, I was kind of thinking about that as a hook, a way of making these podcasts sound more timely. I thought it was just going to be a frame. It became more than that. Somewhere around the 3rd episode, the one about the books behind American business history, the founders and their meticulous financial records, I stopped thinking of it as a frame, and I started realizing it's something I actually believe. My family's been in America since the 1600s. We were some of the original settlers of Jamestown, and some of us came over on the Mayflower. I have 4 ancestors who fought on the Patriot side of the Revolutionary War. I've known this my whole life, but sitting down to write about it this month and connecting the entrepreneurial DNA that runs through my family to the work that I do every day, and I'll kind of point out too that not only am I an entrepreneur, so is my father, so is his father, and his father before him. It really does run through my family. As I connected all of that to the work I do every day, it landed differently than I expected. The people who built this country kept extraordinary records, and it was not because they love accounting. It's because they understood that freedom requires knowing where you stand. I've been saying a version of that to clients for 25 years. They ask me, where am I at? And I say, in what way? What do you mean by this? But that's the number one question people come to me with is, where am I in my business? And that's the first step towards freedom, is knowing where you stand. This month, I understood it at a different level. The episode that surprised me the most was the one about the $40,000 loan nobody mentioned. I've told that story or versions thereof many times in client conversations, but putting it into a podcast format, really sitting with it, with what happened in that quarterly review call, and what it revealed about the gap between what clients think their bookkeeper needs to know and what we actually need to know, that hit differently when I said it out loud. And we are going to come back and revisit that at some point. The thing that stays with me is not the loan itself. It's the casualness. She mentioned it in the middle of a sentence, in the middle of a call, like it was a minor administrative detail. And it wasn't. It was 3 separate financial statement problems hiding behind a single sentence. Overstated income, understated liabilities, partner equity distorted, none of it intentional, all of it consequential. The pattern I keep seeing, and I did an episode on that too, is that the most important information almost never leads. It kind of just arrives in the middle of a conversation, mentioned in passing, because the client didn't know it mattered. That's not a failure of character. It's a failure of explanation. Nobody told them it mattered. That's what a good bookkeeper is for. Not just the records, the questions. I'm still thinking about that one. The episode I heard the most about, and I want to thank everyone who reacted and reached out, and I heard the most about this on LinkedIn, was the one about the tax refund. Apparently, telling people that expecting a large tax refund at the end of the year is not good news is a genuinely unpopular opinion, which is why I said it. The responses ranged from, well, I never thought of it that way, to This is infuriating. Why did nobody tell me this before? The only people that weren't infuriated and outraged about it were the ones whose refunds come from refundable credits, such as the earned income credit or the child tax credit. Because basically, a refund means you overpaid to the IRS. You gave them more of your money than you needed to, and they hold on to it for months and they don't pay interest on it. And for a small business owner, every penny counts. And when you control your own quarterly statements or payments, overpaying's a choice, but it's usually an uninformed one. The goal is accuracy. Knowing your number before you owe it. Paying exactly what you owe, not more, not less, not as a surprise in April. The fact that this was a controversial take in 2026 tells me everything I need to know about how much financial education is missing in the small business world, and that's why I do this. The last episode of July, Built to Last, is the one that pulled everything together. I talked about the 5 markers of a business that's actually financially strong, not the business with the biggest revenue, not the business with the best year, the business with the strongest foundation. Clean, reconciled books, maintained consistently. A profit and loss that tells the truth. A balance sheet that includes everything, accounts for everything. Cash flow visibility 90 days out. And the quarterly conversation that translates numbers into decisions. And it closes with something personal, the family history, the 1600s, the ancestors who crossed an ocean to build something real. What I've inherited from that history is a conviction that you don't build something that lasts by hoping it works out. You build it on a foundation strong enough to hold what you're putting on top of it. That's what July was, the foundation episode. The month where we talked about what the ground floor looks like before you build up. Which brings me to August. August is the builder's month. July said freedom requires knowing where you stand. August asks, now that you know where you stand, where do you build? What do you build? We're going to talk about cash flow as a strategy, not a surprise. The 5 numbers every business owner should check every single month. What your most profitable and least profitable clients actually look like once you do the math. How to know when you're ready to hire. What a buyer will pay for your business and what they won't. And how to make your business more valuable before you sell, before you're even ready to sell. And at the end of the month, August 27th, something is happening that I've been working toward for a long time. My book, Broke to Bankable, from Broke to Bankable, is coming out. I'll have more to say when we get there. What I'll say now is that it's the conversation I've been having with small business owners for 25 years, put into a form that can reach people I'll never sit across from at a desk. The journey from financial avoidance to financial clarity, from checking the bank balance and hoping you know the number, and acting like, from broke to bankable. That's what August is about. That's what this whole show is about, really, and I'm glad you're here for it. If you've been listening to Books and Backbone this month, thank you. If July was the first episode you've heard, welcome. If you've been here from the beginning, you know what this is. And if you've been here from the beginning, when I very first started this show, you've watched me kind of evolve through different podcasting styles. So thank you for being here. I want to have a real conversation about money, business, and what it actually takes to build something that lasts. No fluff. No hustle culture, no easy answers, no me leaning on some fancy car that I don't own, telling you that I have all the answers. But honesty. If something from July landed, an episode made you think about your own books differently, I would love to know. Leave a review on Spotify, leave me a comment on YouTube, send me a message, share the episode with the business owner that needs to hear it. If you're on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the red notification bell so that you're notified when new episodes are uploaded. And if you're ready to have the conversation about what your numbers are actually telling you, I'm here. The first call is free. No pitch, just a conversation. I don't believe in trying to push people that aren't ready into a product that they don't need anyway. So just a conversation. Let's find out how your business is really doing. You can find me at mysimplebookkeeping.com, and you can make an appointment at mysimplebookkeeping.com/contact. I'm Donna Harris. This is Books and Backbone. Welcome to August.